right. Welcome back to the Keys to Success podcast. You guys, we have a special guest today. Mr. Damon is here in the house. This is about to be an exciting podcast. But first, let me check in with my girl Deba real quick. Deba, how you doing? How's your week been?
It's been good. It's a day-to-day struggle, but hey, we're making it, we're making bounds. We're doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm moving. I'm moving to Virginia. We're leaving Texas and we're moving to Virginia to tackle a new market. And so tomorrow night we'll be driving from Texas to Virginia, that whole little 18-hour drive. So just send me the your prayers and your blessings and all the things, okay?
I definitely will. Like I'm still trying to take it in that my friend is leaving me. What am I gonna do? But that's okay. We can still figure it out. I will be on my first trip to Virginia before you know it. So we good.
You already know I'll be on a flight in a second, so it's
Yeah.
never. But without further ado, I want to just give Damon a proper introduction. Damon, like Deba and I, started out in the education field, and he has transitioned into this real estate investing business and has really dominated the field. And so, without further ado, Damon, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Introduce yourself to the people.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you both for having me. And I'm excited to be here. Like Tilisa said, my name is Damon Nash. I love it. I love everything about real estate. Been doing it full time now, really 2 years, I think, just full time, but total of 7 years. And just like you said, education was had me for about 13 years before I finally took the leap to come over into full-time investing. So that's where I am now. That's where I plan to stay until my time is done on this planet.
I know that's right. So hold on. I always have to know, like, what were you doing in education? I know Deborah was a principal. I was working in accounting as the director. What were you doing for the school district for 13 years?
So about 4 of those years, I was actually in the classroom. I was a science teacher and also special education, and then I moved into the role of the at-risk coordinator, which we changed the name to be more positive, which is the student success coordinator. So that meant I just got to work with a larger population all over this building, and then help with district as well for some of our struggling babies.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's so neat. And so what was it? What was it that finally made you realize that, yeah, this ain't for your boy. It just ain't for
COVID, for real. And Deba, COVID and Deba. Let me tell you something. Deba was talking to me and speaking stuff into me about getting rid of the fear of transitioning into full time. But I'm going to tell you, Deba, what really struck a nerve with me was when we were having that conversation where we talked about scrambling to get ready for school in the morning, for our job, get our kids ready, get the house ready, and then we burning out to show up on time, to do all that and real estate, and then come home and do it all over again. You said, I think it was something where you get the kids ready and you had your mug and with your coffee in it and stood out and waved bye to the kids and watched everybody else speeding out of their driveway to go home, and you were all relaxed and went back in your house. And I said, there it is. That right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny you say that because every day that is like my gratitude moment because I am literally like the one that used to sprint out the house like crazy, like get out of my way. I got to get to school because I got T-tests. I got to do some type of evaluation with somebody. And
Right.
now it's more like, God, I am so grateful for this situation. And I really do want to just make sure before we get into Damon, I really just want to just say, I am who I am as an investor because of Damon. And I will say that he has been like, whenever I'm like, okay, I can't figure this out. How do I figure this out? Do you know a contractor? Do you know how we can figure this out? He was always a person that we might go to to help me with everything. And because I am a realtor, he and I were able to work together and still work together. When he has properties that he's flipping, my team or myself will list it for him, help him with staging. And so it's kind of like a beautiful partnership that I'm learning, literally just looking over his shoulder, like, hey, what are you doing? How'd you do that? And just learning more about real estate, because we can all say real estate is about relationships and building that relationship. And I'm always nudging him, like, you need to have a course, like, you need to have something, because he is so phenomenal at what he does. And I think now it's really great for you to kind of share with us, like, what does your portfolio look like? Are you flipping? Who are you as a real estate investor?
Okay, awesome. So again, thank you for that introduction, and also a little boost in confidence there. But so, and this is so sad, and I really should have prepared better for my count. But I do know that right now I have 12 doors. They're all single family rentals. And well, that's not counting Grady. So Grady counts as 2, but technically 12 actual addresses. So 12 doors for a single family. And then my flip, I believe I'm at 15 or 16. And so flip slowed down just a little bit, but that's because I'm pretty cautious, especially with the market that we're entering in now. But I had no idea that after I flipped my very first property, I took some of those proceeds and I went and bought a rental house. Because just reading all those years, I always knew the long-term goal would be property ownership, right? And creating the wealth for my kids now and possibly great grandkids, right? And so I had no idea what I was doing when I did that. I just knew at some point I need to acquire a rental. Well, right after that, I bought another flip. And then with those proceeds, I bought another rental. So I did this 3 times until someone finally said to me, hey, man, that it's like flip, rental, flip, rental, flip, rental. And I looked back and thought, oh, it wasn't intentional, but yes, awesome. And here I am. Yeah, 7 years in, and I've got 12. And well, we just closed on one last Friday, as a matter of fact. So this will be number 13 that I'm getting ready to start working on.
Woo!
Beautiful. That's awesome. That is beautiful.
That's amazing, Damon. And can I just tell the people real quick, you guys, rich people, they play the game to win. Poor people play the game to not lose. Damon was playing Monopoly to win. When he did a flip and then got a rental and then did another flip and got another rental, he's in the game to win. Okay. So I just wanted to highlight that right there, because you're playing real life Monopoly. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to share with the viewers, like, what made you say 7 years ago, I'm going to do real estate? We're in education, and education has its own mindset of how you want to live life. What made you shift and say, oh, I want to just get into real estate?
It actually started about 20 years ago, if I can be honest. Maybe even 21 years ago, where I had been watching, and I'm going to tell my age now. If y'all remember Carlton Sheets, does anybody know who he is or ever heard of him? Okay, I'm going to make your listeners look him up. Y'all look up Carlton Sheets, okay? And then this will really date me. But I was watching infomercials late at night as a college kid, listening to this man tell me how you don't need any money to buy real estate, and you can do what you want and live the life you want, all these fast cars and all this that stuff, right? And so I did. I really was crazy enough to have that kind of confidence. I went, along with reading a couple of books, I went out and I got a property under contract. And it was in Carrollton, as a matter of fact. And this lady was living in this house almost with no utilities. And she took a chance and believed me that I could actually buy this house. And I was crazy enough to think I could buy it I didn't have any financing in place at the time. I didn't understand what wholesaling was. But so I had the property under contract, and I had been looking for a mentor. And I found this guy who actually was a real estate attorney that said, okay, I'll help you. I'll help you figure out this property. So long story short, after me doing all the due diligence, getting everything done, actually under contract, the lady signed it. I got the utilities turned on. She's nice and toasty now. I go back over about a week and a half later to ask for the access for my inspector, only to find out, hey, he came, he being the investor, I won't say his name, the real estate attorney slash investor, and he told me he's going to buy it. And I said, what do you mean he's going to buy it? And she said, well, he came over and we got everything signed, and so I'm going to let him buy it. And I said, well, but he's working with me. I'm the person that you talk to and deal with. And she said, oh, well, he just told me that you were his worker and that he's going to actually buy the property and everything's already signed. And I said, you're kidding. And she said, no, is there something wrong? And I said, yeah, there's something wrong. But, I didn't know any better. So, of course, I'm calling him. I actually go to his house because he had me over for dinner and all this. I'm knocking on the door. I'm peeping through windows. I'm like, hey, where you at? And long story short, he stole the house. He stole the contract because I didn't know, I had rights. I didn't know what to do, how to go to the title company, how to file a memorandum, any of those things that I know now. And so that actually scared me away from real estate up until 7-8 years ago. Because I thought, you know what, I'm a little bitty fish in the ocean. I'm a guppy in the ocean, and I'm not cut out for this. That people that know more than me, that have more money than me, that know the laws, I'm just not cut out for it. And so really, ultimately, that's what I did. I stayed in my little job, and then I changed over into education until I finally said, you know what, man, it's time. You got 2 little babies. I've got twin boys. You got 2 little babies. What are you going to leave for them? What are you going to do for them? I knew that real estate really was my passion. And I thought, okay, if I can find a network of people here or a mentor, it is really time to do this all over again, but now do it right. So that's how I got here.
Wow. Talk about trust and thinking loyalty was going to be in play. And then as an attorney, just sneak in and take it over.
And
oh my gosh.
He didn't even pay you a fee or anything?
Absolutely not. He literally took the contract. And y'all, this contract was so freaking awesome. Back then, houses weren't even going for 100,000. Okay. And so I had this house under contract for about 60 grand. And the house was it was in Carrollton. It was readily worth almost 200. Okay. And the house, don't get me wrong, it was in shambles. It needed a lot of work, which is why I brought the inspector over and bringing the contractor over. And it was a 2-story house. And I thought, yes, because the profit margins that he had helped me run the numbers. I stood to make close to 75 grand had I done this right.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so when you went to his house, did he ever open the door? Did he say anything? It was just nothing.
No, he I mean, it was like like you said, Tilisa, he was moving states. He wasn't going anywhere, but he acted like he was. I mean, I couldn't get that man to answer the door. He wasn't answering the phone. I kind of stalked him a little bit. I sat outside his house like, man, you're going to answer me. What is going on right now?
Oh,
wow.
And that, that's a lesson right there, because we talk about losses and lessons, and right there, if nobody else heard anything, you got to make sure that you can trust the people that you're going into business with. Damon, is there anything that you feel that you could have done differently to kind of get that relationship to where you would be able to sense that level of distrust, or was it just it happened so fast? What do you think?
I think it happened. It's a combination. I think I was so overexcited about finally getting a mentor per se, and having a contract. So the two, and I called him as soon as she signed. Hey, I got it, and here's what I got. He's like, oh great, come over. Let's go through it. Let's look at it. And so I'll say this. I try to be a humanitarian. I'm going to hope that his original intentions really were to help me.
Yeah.
And then he probably saw the deal and was like, this is smoking hot, man. Like I'm I'm gonna take it for myself. So what I would say, kind of hindsight 2020, is anytime you have a partnership, set it up in writing, right?
Mhm.
Even if it's on a napkin,
Yeah.
and y'all are drinking good or whatever it is, that you enjoy. Put something down in writing that is going to hold both people accountable to say, hey, this is a real partnership. We really are in this, whether it's 40, 60, 70, 30, 50, 50. This is a real partnership, and we both owe each other to see it through.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true.
That is so true, and I can attest to what Damon is saying. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm still in a legal battle right now with a family member, and it was all business related. We didn't have any contracts signed. We just kind of did everything by, hey, you're going to do this. I'm going to do this. You're going to invest this much. I'm going to invest this much. And when it was all said and done, it's not a happy ending. So
Mhm.
definitely get something in writing, whether it's a family member, whether it's somebody that you just met on Facebook.
Right.
Check yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. And one beautiful thing is you went through that. Then you were like, you know what? I'm going to just go back and work and just do education. But something kept stirring you up. And you could have easily just said, you know what? I tried it. There's too many snakes in the grass trying to go into real estate. But you kept going. So, what did you do 7 years ago? Did you get a mentor? How did you decide, okay, I'm really going to do this and I really want to get the proper training?
Okay, so I did. I went, now I'm gonna say, the traditional route, whereas I just knew, okay, I'm not ready to do this on my own. I have to find someone or someones that can help me. So I had, I think it was a Facebook advertisement for a 3 day. You go and you listen to a real estate group put a sales pitch, if you will, together of, hey, we're going to show you and give you just enough information to let you be dangerous. But if you join our platinum group or our top level group, then we're going to hold your hand and we'll walk you through your first, your second, your third, until you are really comfortable to get out there on your own. So I tell people all the time, it wasn't cheap, but here's the thing, don't be cheap on yourself. And so
Mm,
I was at a crossroad. I could either go and get a master's degree and try to go the educational route where they were only going to pay me $1,000 more a year for having that expensive piece of paper, or I could take the same amount of money that I would spend over 2.5, 3 years to get that master's and go through this program. It was for a lifetime, basically, but they would take a week to show me how to do what I was really wanting to do. And then we had weekly meetings physically in person. And when I looked at the opportunity that was amazing, that would pay me over and over and over again for that amount that I needed to join, I sold my stock and I used my credit cards and said, I'm in. If you guys will
yeah.
accept me, I'm here.
That's beautiful. Because the biggest thing is you have to be able to know your value and invest in yourself because you are going to get the return on investment. And I can probably ask you today, you taking that step and going through that course and now looking at what you've been able to do with having a rental portfolio, now being able to flip 15 plus houses, that ROI is what?
Unlimited. I can't even
Right.
count it. It's
Yeah.
it's it's 10,000%, because here's the thing that I'll tell you too, and of course anybody that's listening. I sat in the room with multimillionaires,
Mhm.
little old me, listening not only to them teach me how to do it, they came and they sat beside me, and two of them called me. I had just moved into a new house, and I thought, oh, woe is me. I'm going through a divorce. This is not good. Yada yada yada. I can't do this. One of them called me and said, hey man, we haven't seen you at the meetings in about 3 weeks. What are you doing? And I said, I'm going through some stuff, and they said, okay, and that means what? That you can't get up here and get what you paid for?
Ooh.
And that to me really clicked for me, because I'm thinking, I paid my money. If these people never see me again, they got paid.
Yeah.
But to call me, check on me, number one, ask me, what are you doing? You paid all this money to be here. Come get this knowledge that we're giving you, man. Come sit with me and give me all your excuses as to why you can't do this so I can rip them apart and then get your butt in gear. And that blew me away. And to this day, I've got, again, multi-millionaires. I'm on my way. I'm close. Where I can text and or call them and they're responding to me within minutes. Sometimes they'll pick up the phone and call me back. No. Explain. What are you trying to do? Or they'll tell me, yes, do it this way. They'll text me their contractor's information, tell them I sent you. And on a Sunday afternoon, one of the biggest owner finance people in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex left his house and came and sat at my kitchen table to show me how to get a deal done. And I was like,
Wow.
what?
Yeah. And by you just pouring into yourself, it has opened up leaps and bounds of where you could be if you were just like, you know what, I'm just going to go to YouTube University. I'm going to just try to figure it out. And just think about you've been able to offset getting into situations that maybe you couldn't find a way to get out of it because you have met someone and took the time to invest in yourself. So that speaks volumes of just taking that step.
Man, and I want the viewers to just take all that in right now, because there's some key things that Damon had pointed out, and a lot of it had to do with the decisions that he made when he woke up in the morning, the decision to go to those meetings, the decision to invest in himself, the daily action steps that he was taking. I mean, Damon, I don't know what your day-to-day looked like in those beginning stages, but I'm pretty sure that there were mornings that you were waking up very early in the morning, getting things done. So taking action towards your goals every single day is a part of the process. You can't, this isn't a business that you can do on Monday and then neglect for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then come back to it and think that you're going to have a deal on Friday. This is something that requires you to take action every single day. And then once the universe and God sees that you're taking that daily action, all of the opportunities, all the people, all the resources, all the finances will meet you right where you are, but you have to take action first. So I just want to commend that, Damon, because obviously your mindset is that of a millionaire already, billionaire even.
I received that.
You better
touch and agree. Touch and agree.
I love it. I love it. Wow. So, Damon, what are you currently working on right now? What has kind of got you inspired, motivated in this season of your life?
So I am actually I'm finishing. I'm rounding third of a flip in Dallas, which Chaz, one of Deba's awesome teammates, helped me get under contract, and that wasn't easy. They want to go back and forth, play a little bit of tennis for a while, but we did get that. And so I am rounding third on that one. Just finished and got the latest rental occupied with a new tenant. And then, as I was saying, last Friday, just closed on another in Mesquite, Deba. I'm going to go back to Mesquite.
That's true. Yes, that's a big old X for me. Never, ever again. That's a whole nother podcast. Like, you just be like, forget Mesquite. I would say another customer, but we want to keep this rated G. No.
Yeah. So that's in the works right now. We have a lease back with them. They've got 2 weeks. So they may be moving a little bit faster from what I hear, because they have closed on another property themselves. So that's in the works. And then if I can speak on the one Deba and I have been playing, we've been playing hopscotch with one for literally a year now. We got it under contract last December, and there were all kind of pitfalls and excuses and I don't want tos and all kind of stuff. And so we're actually, listen, I'm a patient man when it comes to the real estate. Sometimes you have to play the long game, right? And so we are still under contract. I'll just wait them out, but eventually we'll close that one too.
hopefully we can close before the end of the year, but if not, it'll probably be 2023, maybe in February. Who knows?
Correct, correct. So this will be the longest one I've ever had in the contract. But I won't give too much away. But one of my ultimate goals is to become a builder, and so I am currently in the works with getting ready to embark upon learning how to build. So I'm super excited about that.
I
Ooh,
love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
that
yeah.
is exciting. And so, are you going to be in the near future trying to connect with developers and build those relationships?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I am actually an introvert, if you can't tell, and so that was a struggle for me, to get out and really get out of my shell and go to network. Yeah, Talisa, seriously. And so attending local RIAs, the real estate investment groups. Even when some of my mentors would invite me out, Damon, you need to get out, come meet and rub elbows, and I'm like. So making those steps, having to really consciously say, okay, you know what? I'm going to attend this group. I'm going to go attend this training. I might be the only person in the room that doesn't know anybody, and I have to physically go and shake people's hands and introduce myself. And that has actually garnered some of the networking and the partnerships that I've created to where I'm starting to get into the building side. So yes, ma'am, I'm definitely looking forward to creating those relationships with developers and really learning raw land investing and developing. Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. And one thing, I mean, because we're all in education, and what I love hearing is that you didn't have to wait 9 months to get promoted. If you're in education, you understand that we would be in a job and we know that this is what my paycheck is going to be for 9 months, 9 to 10 months. And we would be working so hard for those 9 months just so that we can get 2 months to try to get promoted. And if we
Right.
didn't get promoted, we would have to go a whole nother 9 months or leave the district. And I
That's right.
love hearing Damon of how, hey, I started with flips, I did rentals, promotion. I decided, hey, I'm going to start going into RIAs and start meeting new people. Promotion of just understanding, like, hey, it's a new world of learning something different with real estate. And now to hear like you're learning land and being a developer and becoming a builder, a promotion. Promotion starts from within. You don't have to wait for someone else to tell you you need to be promoted. Forget that. And I think that's something that, like with Damon and I, we will always talk, and I get real passionate about this because you have to buck the system. Forget the system.
Yep.
The system was never set up for us to be successful anyways. So you got to be able to understand that I know what I bring to the table. I know what value I bring to the table. When I go to these meetups, they should be excited to meet me. Forget me meeting them. Like, I bring a lot to the table. Sometimes you got to say, I am the table, and that's kind of that motivation you have to have. So I just love hearing that from you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And seriously, it's being connected to ladies like you, and really, like you said, the education and the drive to continue to learn. The whole key, if I can tell anybody, is never stop learning, because there's so many aspects to real estate that you can't obtain all the knowledge for every part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing that I would say is, because I know that, and even this happened with me, there's so many areas in real estate that you can dive into, and you might have to go through a couple of those different strategies before you find something that really resonates with you. So, I don't want people to give up if they start wholesaling and a year goes by and they haven't closed a deal. Okay, maybe wholesaling isn't for you. Maybe you want to try raising private capital. Maybe you're good
Mhm,
at talking to people. Maybe you're good at
mhm.
building those relationships. Go get yourself a membership at the country club and sit there amongst people who are rich and tell them that you raise private capital. Ask them what they do. Even an introvert like me, because similar to Damon, I'm an introvert. Even though I may not seem like it, I know how to make myself extroverted when I need to. But after this, I have to go battery myself back Yeah, because even this can sometimes be very draining for somebody like me. So if you have this sort of a personality, go get yourself a membership at the country club. Sit down, ask somebody, what do you do? Just start with that. What do you do?
Mhm.
Okay, you never
Mhm.
know who you might be across from having tea. You don't got to spend a whole lot of money, but you need to be in the environments where these sorts of things can begin to mature and begin to happen. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And
Damon.
one question I would love to ask you, Damon, is we talk about this on the show all the time, limiting beliefs. What were those limiting beliefs or things that you would tell yourself that you had to dismantle to move forward to where you are now?
The very first one was that I could actually do this and be successful at it. That was the first thing. I really didn't have naysayers around me. I had people really pumping me up more than myself. So that was the first thing that I had to get out of my own head. I'd say 95% of our limitation is right here.
Yeah.
And as long as when we get this thing and all ultimately up there all aligned, right, God, head, and heart, everything else will fall into place. So that was my primary.
Amen.
The second thing was I could actually manage grown people because I had worked in education, and me working with the kids was easy. Even though I had high schoolers, they were malleable. When you're working with contractors who are good in their field and they've been 15, 20 plus years in, and they look at me and they're like, this kid is not getting ready to come in here and tell me how to do my job. I don't have an answer to him. I always say, being in charge of grown men is like herding cats, right?
Yes.
They're not going to conform to what you say until you put a piece of paper, call that contract, and here's how you're going to get paid if you don't do it this way, right? So that was a big one. And then my third final belief or limiting belief was that because of the way I look, the color of my skin, other non-blacks don't want to deal with me. They're not going to sell me their house. They don't want to do business with me, right? All right here. Had to get out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, because I'll tell you right now, when somebody is in a pickle and they need that cash so that they can go pay for a surgery or they can go do whatever, they don't care what
They
color
don't care.
or what culture you're from. All they want, can you pay for the house?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Do you have the cash?
Absolutely.
Right.
And would you agree that real estate,
the only color is green?
that's it.
That green.
That's it. And would y'all agree that real estate investing and learning this process, it's a mindset?
Yep, absolutely.
And Damon, share a little bit about that
100%.
mindset for you, of like how you had to transition the mindset and what things you did to change it.
So that's really what it was. I think for me, what gave me the swift kick that I needed to know that I was really built for this and could do it was I actually, I'm gonna tell it on myself a little bit. I had lunch. Lunch was supposed to be 30 minutes. Y'all know what it is, again, education. But I decided, you know what? I'm going after this so hard that I drove from Southeast Mesquite, almost Balk Springs, up to Addison to meet with who I saw as a potential mentor, because he said, okay, here's when I'm available. And I said, never mind, I'll be there. I get all the way over there and he doesn't show. And I was like, where you at? And he goes, oh man, I'm so sorry. I had something else going on. And I'm like, I just jeopardized my job, dude. Okay, fine. I get him back on the hook again about 3 weeks later. All right, man. Hey, I'm available on this time again. Okay, I'll just structure my lunch around then and I'll go. Hour and a half later. Hey, man, where you at? Oh, man. You know what? I had so-and-so. And I'm like, oh my God, what just happened here? Okay, maybe I need to try somebody else in the group. But really, again, long story short, it was when I finally got him to sit down with me that third time and he pulls out a spiral. And I'm thinking, what did he get ready to do with a spiral? This man driving a Lambo. Matter of fact, him and his wife had matching Lambos. So if you're watching, you know who I'm talking to. Um, they had matching Lambos, and I was like, okay, because this guy's got what I want, right? Not necessarily the car, but the mindset. And so that's what he did. He sat down with me and we went through the excuses of why I could not do what he was doing. And he took them all away one by one by one by one. And that changed my mindset right there. And I said, you know what? I can do this. Not only can I do it, but I can successfully do this while I'm still in education until I get comfortable enough that I'm making my salary so that I can walk away. If I never made more than my salary, I knew that I could do this, right? But I knew if I did it right and properly, then I could do my salary plus some and really be comfortable to move into this full time. And so that's really where my mindset had to shift into not only can I do this, but I can do this with integrity, do it right. And then everything, like Tilisa said, then the universe is waiting on me. It's waiting for me to get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful. Like
that was. But you know, one thing is the mindset is, I would tell you guys, the mindset is probably the hardest thing to work on because we're doing things subconsciously. Our behaviors, all of that stuff is being done subconsciously, and it's all based on past traumas, past experiences. And it's like until you actually become aware of your mind and you can actually stop your mind in its tracks when it's telling you something that is, you know, something that you shouldn't be believing, and ask yourself, why are you thinking like this? Why, you know, what do we need to change? Because how I'm thinking is how I'm attracting. So if I can't stop myself in my tracks and say, okay, you know what, I can do this. And another thing that I kind of want to mention is with the mindset, when you say you want to do something or you say you want to be something, but your action steps aren't in alignment with what you're saying you want to do, you're not going to accomplish the goal. So for instance, let's say that you've been at a job where you're making $15 an hour and you want to be making $100,000 an hour. And so even though you want to make $100,000 an hour, every single time you go on Indeed, you're finding jobs that are $15 an hour. Well, then
Right.
finding jobs that are $15 an hour and start applying for jobs that make $100,000 a year. And maybe the action steps that you're taking will be in alignment with what you want, but you can't want one thing and be doing something else because the universe is like, it don't make sense. It got to make sense.
Right.
So,
oh, that's
Man,
so true.
that's beautiful because that's exactly where I had to get. I could not roll out of the bed and just go punch the time clock and do nothing. And so again, I'm telling on myself now that I'm retired from there, I can say a large part of my downtime at work was doing real estate. I was in that. And
Really?
people
For
know.
all of us.
They're like,
just keep it all
do
the
y'all
way.
know where Mr. Nash is? Well, he probably off in his office looking at houses, or he probably over there trying to figure out how to write the contract. He probably over there crunching numbers. And I'd be like, I sure am. Or
Okay, I gotta tell on myself. I'm gonna tell on myself. I have to tell on myself. So the worst part of my day, and I think any teacher, any administrator, any counselor would say, is lunch duty. That was the worst part of my day. Do you hear me? So what I would do during lunch duty is I would always make sure I had my phone charged up, ready to go, because all I would do is scroll. I would look, I had an email for all wholesale deals. And so I would make sure I'm parked somewhere that if something went off, I could easily get to it. But I'm scrolling on my phone like, oh, this is a good deal. This is a good deal. And I remember telling one of the counselors that was in there, like, oh my God, you should see this house. This is a really good deal. And she was like, well, how are you going to pay for it? Like, we don't make enough money to do this. And in my mind, I'm like, you're not a person I'm going to talk to anymore about this situation. Cut you off. Let me move to another part in this lunch so I don't have to even deal with you. But yes, I mean, so many times I was spending with real estate, doing something with real estate.
I literally thought I thought it was just me. And you know what? I would feel bad. I would feel like Tilisa, you know you ain't supposed to be looking at real estate. You know you ain't supposed to be looking at you're supposed they're paying you at this job. You're supposed to be doing this job. And I would feel bad, but then I couldn't help it.
It was like an addiction, like some type of yes.
I would get mad if I couldn't do some type of real estate, whether I was at work or at home. If I wasn't doing something real estate related on a daily basis, I was angry. Like that's how much it was.
No. What about when you're doing something related to real estate and then somebody from your job call you and want you to do the work that you was hired to do?
You'd be so mad. I'm like, so mad.
Like, oh, why are you even calling me?
Angry.
My stomach hurt.
Oh my God. And you know what? Us three are probably the only ones that can truly relate, because that education is a whole nother beast of like corporate. It's totally different than corporate America.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh my
yes.
It's like about the public school system. Everything flies. Nobody gets fired. We're going to do it the way that we've always done it.
Yes.
No progression, no innovation, no creativity. I mean, that was just, it was a black box for me, you guys.
Yeah. And I used to always think like, we've been in education for this long and we have been districts for this long. Why haven't we figured this stuff out yet? Like, why do we have to continue to come up with new innovation? Like, it's basic. And I used to get so frustrated because then it'd be like, oh, we want you to do PLCs. We want you to do all this new stuff. And I'm like, why? Like, what has worked? Let's just keep doing what's worked. Because in real estate, once you get the foundation done and you learn like you're doing the BRRRR, it's either plug and play. The numbers make sense. Yes, check, move on. Do the same thing over and over again.
It actually makes sense. I remember having to manage millions of dollars for the school district, and they've got all sorts of investment accounts, and the investments aren't making any money. They're making 2% interest, 3% interest. Every single time that the maturity date comes, I'm looking at how much we made for the year. I'm like, they didn't make nothing, and they have a lot of money. And I used to be thinking like, dang, if they invested in real estate, they really, and I was in charge of the investments, but I couldn't even do what I knew we needed to do because they were stuck in these school district bonds and investment accounts. And by the time I left, they were almost at 0%. There was no money being made.
Wow. But it's so funny that the school districts are not investing in real estate, but the Texas teacher retirement is investing in real estate. We have hedge funds set up to invest in real estate. And they don't tell you that until you start really talking to other people that do hedge funds and like, oh yeah, TRS is one of the biggest investment hedge funds.
Oh yeah. But I'm telling you guys, it's the whole thing. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yes.
School district politics.
Hey, listen, we gonna have the big wigs after us out in a minute. Don't
let me not say my school district out loud then.
Oh my goodness, that's too funny. Too bad they don't pay none of our bills, so we're gonna keep it moving.
Right.
That's 100%.
So, Damon, I want you to tell the people that if you could go back to your 18-year-old self, back to your adolescent self, what would you tell yourself right now as it pertains to investing in real estate? And what would you tell those who are that age now?
Look at it as a real vehicle to in long-term investing in yourself and generational wealth. I tell my boys now, they're 11, and college is great. However, it is not for everyone. And should they choose not to go that track, that's okay, because what I'm teaching them right now is invaluable. Because I've had my boys at the closing table since they were 7 years old. They're learning how to read closing disclosures and understand what numbers look like, because these things, up until I say about 3 years ago, were not taught in school. They are now being taught in school. And so speaking to that little dude back then, I would tell him, hey man, don't squash yourself down thinking that you have to go to school, you have to go get a degree and get a good paying job and hopefully put some money away for retirement and do other things, because that was the traditional route. You can actually learn how to become an entrepreneur and run a business and transact business, not going to school and getting an MBA. I thought I had to go get an MBA and take all these money classes in order to do this stuff. And at that time, that wasn't what I wanted. I actually have a biology degree and was pre-med. I thought I wanted to be a doctor, until I decided, okay, 12 more years of school, I think I'm good. So so that's what I would tell that guy there is, do not be afraid to go off of the traditional path and learn that there's something else out in this world that will still give you what you want money wise, but the most valuable thing is your time.
Mm.
The time that I have now, you can't put a monetary value on. And knowing that I spent all that time in school or chasing that piece of paper versus the time and the commitment that I can do now for what I like to do, which is be involved with my kids, uh, play sports, do some other things that are more valuable to me. That's who I'd speak to now.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that it's so important because we as parents, we do have a duty to show our kids how to get the bag. I mean, I was one of those people that when I left the school district, I was not the best entrepreneur. I didn't know how to be. I relied on somebody to give me my paycheck every single month, and I really didn't have to do much but follow a checklist every single day. And
Hmm.
that that hurt me because I didn't know how to go out there and get it. And so it's like, now that you know how to go out there and get it, you know how to make money in real estate, and now you can teach your kids. This will put them in a position that even if they do want to be a garbage man, if that is their desire, you're going to be the richest garbage man that there is, because you're going
Yeah.
to know how to make this money.
That's
And
right. Right,
it,
right here.
right there. And same thing with my daughter. She's 17. She wants to go to veterinary school, but when she turns 18, she wants to buy her first multifamily. And she said, I don't want you and dad to have to pay for my college tuition. So I will pay for my college tuition once I have those funds stacked up. Look, I'm going to teach you how to make that money. I'm going to teach you how to invest. And whatever you do after that, as long as you're happy, I'm happy. But you're going to know how to get there.
Hmm.
Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so, Damon, share with our viewers how they can stay in contact with you. How can they follow you? What you got going on?
So again, the little introvert, I'm a little shy, but I'm getting better. I do have a social media presence. I am on Facebook, so you can find me at DN Brayton REI. So although I'm seeing now that my shirt is so low up here, this is me, DN Brayton Management Group. But D and Brayton Homes is what we are on Instagram as well. So on Facebook, I am DN Brayton REI, standing for Real Estate Investing. And then on Instagram, you can find me under DN Brayton Homes. That is actually probably where I'm going to move into creating the next LLC, is DN Brayton Homes, because that's what I want as the moniker for the building aspect. So look out for that. It's coming.
I
Yes.
love it. I love it. This has been so great. And we just appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to just shed light on who you are, what you've been doing, and how God has like blessed you beyond measure with real estate investing. So this has been such an honor, and we thank you so, so much.
Yes, Damon. Thank you.
Yes.
You are such a light. You're such a good ball of energy. I'm glad to have met you, glad to be connected with you. And I just can't wait to see what you're about to be doing in the very near future. I hope we can do business together.
Yes, I most definitely appreciate the opportunity as well. Likewise, I've been blessed equally to be able to speak with both of you all, share my little bit of a story. And to listen, I'm so sorry that you are leaving the state, because I have seen your presence also. And I was like, man, I want to sit down with her and get in her brain and all that stuff. So we got to at least stay connected, if nothing else, virtually, before, and hopefully you'll come back to visit sometime.
Yes, I'm a flight away. You guys, like, y'all trying to have dinner, I'm on a flight. Like, y'all trying to host a little meetup, I'm on a flight. Like, it's like I'm still here. So y'all just let me know what's up.
Yes.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. And you guys, thank you for continuing to watching Keys to Success podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube. And if you have any requests, if there's any topics that you guys would like for us to discuss, make sure that you reach out to us, keys to success podcast at gmail.com. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.